Okay, so this is actually our the last presentation for today. Okay, this is also one of the important presentation with respect to the rotorcraft, because this is for what we are actually getting ourselves trained. We are training ourselves on rotorcraft. If you see in the morning, the first slide which I talked about the introduction, there were three things written on it: small, rotorcraft, VLOS, right? तो small हमको पता चल गया, because we are getting trained on the drone, which is a small class, which is range from 2 kg to 25 kg. Then we are going to get trained ourselves on rotorcraft. That means two or more propellers would be there. So we are going to get trained on 4 or 6 propellers kind of drones. So we are actually going to train ourselves on 6 propellers, और hexacopter पे हम अपने आप को train करेंगे. So rotorcraft operations and aerodynamics. Okay, so this is the most important presentation of our drone flying. This will be helpful when we are actually doing our practicals or when we are flying our drones. Okay, so what is the basic drone overview? Types of multi-rotor drones, quadcopter anatomy and terminology, internal electronics of a drone, and then we'll see couple of applications of our rotor craft. Okay, so what is a drone? A drone is an aerial, ground, underwater vehicle without human pilot on board. Okay, so when we say unmanned, means it will be always said that no human on board or no human pilot on board. So you can see there are three pictures. One is the quadcopter, then there is a tank. Okay, this is an unmanned tank. This is another area where the unmanned vehicles are getting. So now your warfare is not going to happen between the people. You know, you must have seen the warfare happening between Ukraine and Russia, or Israel and Palestinian, okay, or even the other, what is that, Lebanon, right? All these countries, what they are fighting, they are not fighting with people. People तो है, but अभी क्या चल रहा है, टेक्नोलॉजी वॉरफेयर चल रहा है. जैसे स्पेशली यूक्रेन और रशिया में क्या चल रहा है लास्ट कितने दिनों से, लाइक सालों से, ऑलमोस्ट मोर देन अभी 2 साल हो गए ऑलमोस्ट for that war to happening. That war initially it started with the power, you know, like people, tanks, ये वो सब देखा हमने. But right now that war is happening between drones. ये इधर से एक ड्रोन भेजता है, उसके ऊपर कुछ पेलोड रखा रहता है, वो उसके टैंक को डिस्ट्रॉय करता है. वो उधर से एरोप्लेन ड्रोन भेजता है, उसके ऊपर अटैक करता है, उसका कोई बिल्डिंग गिरा देता है, एंड ऑल दैट थिंग. सो दीज आर टेक्नोलॉजिकल वॉरफेयर. ओके, तो फ्यूचर वॉर, okay, if in case, I'm just saying, okay, it should not happen, but in case world war 3 hota hai, so world war 3 will be more of a technological war. Okay, it is not a war of people, it's a war of technology and intelligence. Okay, do you know what was the world war 1 was done on? जैसे अभी मैंने आपको बोला वर्ल्ड वॉर 3 will be a technology and intelligence. Do you know what was the concept of world war 1? इस पे कैसे हुआ था वॉर? Any idea? See, if you want to learn aviation, you should know the history also. You should know how things are being, and even if you want to know about the technology and usage of technology, how these are being evolved, what are these? Now drone, even the drones, what we are seeing, they are evolved for more than 100 years. Drone is not that like 2 साल 4 साल पहले का चीज नहीं है. Drone has been there for more than 100 years. More than 100 years. Okay, only the name and terminology was different, but the purpose and the use was same. So world war 1 was basically the rifle and the trenches. Okay, so अगर आपने कोई वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 की मूवी देखो, उसमें आपको क्या दिखाई देता है? मोस्टली आपको ट्रेंचेस दिखाई जाएंगे, राइफल्स यूज कर देंगे, यू नो, स्नाइपर वाला रहेगा बंदा, ये वो सब चलेगा.
Yes.
Whereas world war 2 was what?
World War II, Allied group and Axis power.
वो तो दो डिफरेंट टीम्स हो गए. वो तो कोई भी वॉर में दो टीम्स तो रहेंगे, बट क्या था?
पर वर्ल्ड वॉर टू में न्यूक्लियर वेपन यूज किया था.
वो तो लास्ट में यूज किया था. वो तो टेक्नोलॉजी एडवांसमेंट हो गया था. बट वर्ल्ड
जैसे
वॉर
फिर
1 से लेके वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 में जब आप ट्रांजिशन होते हो, तो वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 में आपने देखा रहेगा, वी हैव यूज टैंक्स. ओके, ह्यूमन से ज्यादा टैंक्स आए थे पिक्चर में. इट वाज अ कंप्लीट वॉरफेयर ऑफ टैंक्स एंड एरोप्लेन्स.
हाँ, जो आपने
हाँ
पहले सर बताया वो विंग,
हाँ
हाँ
स्पिटफायर या मुस्टैंग, हाँ
वो वाले
मुस्टैंग,
प्लेन ज्यादातर यूज हुए थे।
हाँ. So those type of aeroplanes. So there were two technology advancement was used. So it was how you से देखो अगर वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 में देखो अपने ट्रेंचेस खोदे तो आप जा नहीं सक रहे थे एक लोकेशन से दूसरे लोकेशन, या पार नहीं कर पा रहे थे एनिमी टेरिटरी. ओके कि अगर आप छुप के गोली मार रहे थे, अगर कोई आ रहा है गोली सामने से तो आप गोली मार सकते थे, ऑल दैट थिंग. तो उसको ओवरकम करने के लिए क्या किया उन्होंने, उन्होंने टैंक्स बनाए. तो टैंक कैन क्रॉस द ट्रेंचेस. Okay, that's how the World War II started. Or that time, the aeroplanes were already developed. Aeroplanes were used for military reconciliation activities. मतलब क्या होता था, वो एनिमी की टेरिटरी पे एरोप्लेन फ्लाई करते थे, वहां का पिक्चर्स लेते थे और रिटर्न आते थे. तो दे यूज टू नो कि कहाँ पे क्या क्या बेसिस बनाए, क्या बनाया क्या नहीं बनाया, वो सब करके देन दे यूज टू प्लान द स्ट्रेटेजी फॉर अटैक. ओके, बट आगे जाके उन्होंने देखा कि एरोप्लेन के ऊपर मैं बॉम्ब्स लगा सकता हूँ. द वे एम्यूनेशन गॉट डेवलप्ड एंड ऑल दैट थिंग्स, आपने बड़े बड़े बॉम्ब्स बनाए, रॉकेट बॉम्ब्स बनाए, ऑल दैट थिंग्स. सो बहुत फायर पावर आपने बना लिया. सो दैट एरोप्लेन वाज यूज्ड टू ड्रॉप दोज बॉम्ब्स एंड ऑल दैट थिंग्स. तो आप कम से कम कॉजुअलिटी में मैक्सिमम डैमेज कर रहे हो एनिमी का. दैट वाज द पर्पस इन वर्ल्ड वॉर 2. Now the current war which is happening is all about technology war. People are not interested like एक आदमी ने दूसरे आदमी को गोली मारा and all. They are saying how we can disrupt the complete city by minimum casualty. So आप ड्रोन से रिमोटली फ्लाई कर रहे हो, आप किसी एनिमी टेरिटरी पे जा रहे हो, उसका पूरा पिक्चर्स ले रहे हो, डेटा कलेक्ट कर रहे हो, अकॉर्डिंगली यू विल प्लान द मिशन, योर ड्रोन विल गो, कीप ऑन ड्रॉपिंग द ड्रोन्स, टक 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 एंड कम बैक. Okay, so see the kind of drone, that's why we are talking about something called as anti drone technology. अगर मेरे एरिया में अगर ड्रोन आ रहा है और वो मुझ पे अटैक करेगा तो आई शुड नो हाउ टू स्टॉप दैट ड्रोन आल्सो, राइट? So that's why there is lot of world में lot of people are now started working on something called as anti drone technology. We can put some kind of a barrier, some kind of a restriction, some kind of a communication jammer, so that that drone cannot come near to or come near my area and all that thing. So that is how it is. Okay, so now the further wars more will be of technology, and that will be more from a remote perspective. Okay, so it is, if you see, drone is an aerial, ground or underwater vehicle without human pilot on board. It is known as unmanned air vehicle, UAV, or remotely piloted vehicle, RPV. The entire system is known as unmanned aircraft system. So when you have V, okay, so we are only talking about the device which is in mobility device or going flying device or traveling device or moving device. Okay, so that is V, that is vehicle. But there would be a remote control, there could be a control station, all that will consist of system. Okay, so whenever there is a word system comes, that means we are talking of totality. So unmanned aircraft system means UAS, or remotely piloted aircraft system, RPAS. Okay, that is also a system. So normally RPAS or UAS, they are the system, the complete system. The drone, the remote control, the control station, all is your RPAS. Even the pilot is also considered part of the RPAS. That's why your logbook is said RPAS pilot logbook. Okay, remote pilot aircraft system pilot logbook. Okay, so RPAS is nothing but RPA, remotely piloted aircraft, and then GCS, ground control station, or also the RC, the remote control, will also be the part of RPAS. Okay, so how does drone works? It may be remotely controlled by the human operator. So remote control is in hand of the person, and he is control the flying the drone. Or you can fly autonomously with the help of onboard computer. So you have a control panel over here. You are planning your flight mission and you're feeding that to the drone. The drone will, once it has the flight plan and everything available based on the flight plan, it will fly and confirm back to the ground control station about its position and its activity. So what are types of drones? Multi-rotor drones, the rotor with more than two rotors. So even your two rotors, there are drones with two rotors also, there are drones with tricopter also, but they are less stable. They are very difficult to configure. They are very difficult to stabilize. So that is what we have seen. Drones with minimum four, okay, four rotors are the stable, four and more. Okay, so four is always, they will always have a even number. We'll never have like 5, 7 kind of thing. We'll always have a even number. So you will start with four. Four rotors is called quadcopter. Six rotor is called hexacopter. Eight motors are called octocopters. So maximum we have seen 4, 6, and 8. Okay. Whereas quadcopter are most popular and widely used variant. 6 is used because normally agriculture में हम लोग use करते हैं because we need more power to lift the टैंक द फर्टिलाइजर टैंक बिकॉज 10 लीटर का टैंक उठाना है तो ऑलमोस्ट 10-12 kg ऑफ वेट है जो आपको पिक करना है ओके so based on the weight capacity we will have rotors. Okay, so multi-rotor pros and cons, as we have already discussed during the fixed wing part. So pros are vertical takeoff and landing, hovering capabilities, operation from confined space. So multi-rotor drone का concept यही है कि you can go into the small confined spaces. Like I have seen drones which have been used to monitor the windmills, monitor the chimneys, monitor the very difficult small spaces where the bigger drones cannot go. The smaller rotorcraft drones are being sent there to capture or get the data from there. Okay, there were two students in last to last batch where they were actually utilizing quadcopter drone for surveying the internals of the ship. Okay, ship के अंदर का जो पूरा स्ट्रक्चर रहता है उसका सर्वेलेंस करने के लिए they use the drones, quadcopter drones. But what are the limitation of the multi-rotor drones? The limited endurance compared to the fixed wing. We know, we saw this about, right? कि हमारा since it's a battery powered, so we may get 15, 20, 30 minutes kind of endurance. Less chance of recovery in case of motor failure. This I told you, right? Because they are not aerodynamically designed. So वो ऐसे नहीं कि वो हवा में उड़ता है अचानक मोटर बंद पड़ गया तो भी वो चलता रहेगा. It's not like that. In case of your fixed wing, आपके समझो दो इंजन लगे हुए हैं मोटर पे. ओके दो इंजन लगे हुए, एक इंजन फेल भी हो गया तो भी स्टिल योर एरोप्लेन कैन फ्लाई. ओके इट कैन फ्लाई टू सर्टेन एक्सटेंट. इट कैन सेफली ग्लाइड एंड सेफली यू कैन लैंड टू सम सर्टेन सरफेस, प्लेन सरफेस एरिया पे भी आप लैंड कर सकते हो. बट इन मोटर मल्टी रोटर ड्रोन्स you cannot do that unless you have a different mechanism for recovery purposes. Okay, again the speed is limited because battery powered है तो speed limited है. Cannot perform high altitude long endurance. मैंने बोला ना कि drone cannot go up very very high up because उसको कुछ तो चाहिए ना push करने के लिए, that air नीचे push करके उसको ऊपर जाने के लिए it can go up to certain height, but high altitude long endurance मतलब 20,000 फुट 30,000 फुट इतना ऊपर ड्रोन नहीं फ्लाई कर सकते आप. Okay, so there is a limit based on the drone design. So this halley operations cannot be done by the multi-rotor drones. Okay, so let's see now the history of the multi-rotor drones. So history, it says that by 1849, Austrian balloons measuring 5.7 meters in diameter were used to attack the Italian city of Venice with unmanned balloon loaded with explosives. So this is actually a balloon. ये बलून में वो हीलियम भरते थे या हाइड्रोजन भरते थे और उसको छोड़ते थे. उसके नीचे एक मैकेनिज्म था, एक बास्केट था. ओके, वो बास्केट में क्या होता था, कुछ विंड कुछ ये रहते थे, अपना क्या बोलते हैं इसको, सैंडबैग्स रहते थे और कुछ एक्सप्लोजिव्स लोडेड रहते थे. ओके, तो इसमें क्या होता था ना, उन्होंने ऐसे फ्यूज बनाए थे, फ्यूजेस बनाए हुए थे जो सर्टन टाइम के बाद वो फ्यूज ट्रिगर होता था अपने आप और ट्रिगर होके वो एक्सप्लोजिव ड्रॉप करता था या सैंडबैग्स ड्रॉप करता था. अगर ये ड्रोन को बहुत नीचे नीचे हो रहा है, हाइट पे जाना है तो उसका वेट कम करना है तो कुछ सैंडबैग्स लगे हुए थे उसमें, तो वो सैंडबैग को ये करता था, ड्रॉप करता था, तो ऑटोमेटिक उसका हाइट बढ़ता था. या फिर उसको एक्सप्लोजिव ड्रॉप करना है तो वो फ्यूज लॉन्च करता था. फ्यूज से एक एक एक्सप्लोजिव मतलब आफ्टर सर्टन पीरियड, लाइक एक अभी ड्रोन फ्लाई हो रहा है, बलून फ्लाई हो रहा है, इट इज फ्लाइंग ऑन इट्स ओन इन एयर. जैसे उसके ऊपर एयर आएगा वैसे वो फ्लाई होता रहेगा, जाता रहेगा इन द एयर, राइट. सो वो क्या करता था, सर्टन एरिया के बाद जाने के बाद एक फ्यूज ट्रिगर होता था, फिर 5 मिनट के बाद अनदर फ्यूज ट्रिगर होता था. सो डिफरेंट एरिया ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन it will keep on dropping the explosives. But this mechanism was not that really successful because यहाँ पे आप भले वो unmanned है but it is not controllable. It is flown, it is going up in the air and flown, but there is no control mechanism to flight path. Okay, वो अपने आप जा रहा है. Same technology was used by Japanese in World War II also. Okay, they have flown kind of balloons to attack the western side of the America, that is on California, Las Vegas, those cities, but those balloons never has reached the land, and they are not were successful. Okay, so evolution of drones, as I said, Australian used the bomb filled balloons against the winds. Then Tesla, the Nikola Tesla demonstrated boat on a pond in New York operated by radio waves. First use of UAVs was cameras for surveillance. Okay, used bomb filled balloons against Spanish-American War, 1910 May. Then the aeroplanes were used. Then there were lightning bugs were used for launching the on Vietnam locations. Then came the real drone. Okay, that was in 1974. That is aerospace maverick Kareem creates Amber. So this was initially drone which was created by Kareem, and then the Israeli and military started using the Pioneer type drones, and then Desert Storm आपने use किया था Gulf War में, and then there was not much use of drones in warfare. Then we started using for some peaceful activities like monitoring of climate and environmental using drones. Then came the 1990 time में Afghanistan war जब start हुआ था, that time by that time the drone which was developed by Kareem was adopted by the US defense, and it was renamed as Predator drones. Okay, so 1990 99 2000 के time पे this was the utilization of drone. So actual commercial use of the drone started from 2000 year. 2000 से 2010 में लोगों ने drones बनाए, drones use किए only for aerial photography and videography purposes only. Okay, and some extent defense or the military people were using drones, so there was not much take. Real boom started after 2010. Okay, or I would say from 2010 to 2014 period. वो period में अपने काफी drones आ गए, and then that is the time when ICAO thought that we need to have some rules and regulations, some best practices, some standard operating procedures to be defined. So by 2014, the ICAO actually formed the panel and started following the formulation of the draft rules or framework for flying the UAVs. Okay, by that time DJI was also formed. DJI also had come up with a couple of drones. So Phantom was released in 2014. That point in time, and then subsequently DJI made very good development. They spent a lot of time into research and development of the drones. So by 2014 we had, or 2015, US government as well as Canada, Australia, a lot of developed countries adopted the framework provided by ICAO, and that's how you see these developed countries are ahead in the drone technology compared to us. Okay, so we started adopting the drone or the drone technology and all the things since 2018, but we didn't have proper rules or regulations, or people were not aware of what is what and what is not required over there. Okay, our actually the drone revolution started from 2021 after we have a proper rules released for the people. Okay, so consumer drone property and all the things, then we will have 2016 2017. So during this period 2016 2017 or 18, okay, in US drones were so popular that within a period of 1 year, one or max 2 years, they have almost 1 lakh pilots. जबकि हमारे यहाँ पे अभी हमको 3 साल होने को आए, and we have how many pilots? Hardly 15,000 pilots, I would say. 12,000 pilots है हमारे यहाँ पे. Okay, so 12,000 to 15,000 pilots ही हमारे यहाँ पे 3 साल में हो सके हैं. Whereas US में आप सोचो 2 साल में 1 lakh pilots हो गए, 1 lakh pilots. So we are lagging. अगर आप देखोगे हमारा ऑनलाइन सिस्टम में we have 30,000 drones. अगर 30,000 drones है मतलब हमको 30,000 pilots होने चाहिए हमारे यहाँ पे, correct? But we are having only 12,000 to 15,000 pilots, यानी 50% ही हमारे यहाँ पे authorized pilots है. So we need to get that number up by having more number of pilots. Okay, so this is what I was talking. Father of drones is Dr. Abraham Kareem. Okay, born in Baghdad, later moved to Israel in 1951. Aeronautical engineer from Techon, Israel Institute of Technology. Built his first drone during Yom Kippur War of Israeli Air Force. Okay, so initially he built a drone for Israeli Air Force. In 1970, he immigrated to United States. He found a system called Leading Systems, okay, and started manufacturing his first enterprise drone called as Albatross. So this Albatross is nothing but today's Predator. So Albatross was taken by the US Defense, and they have renamed that drone to Predator, which brought him the title father of the drones. So if somebody asks you who is the father of the drones, Dr. Abraham Karim is the father of the drones. Okay, so what are the future of the drones? Factors such as cutting edge design, engineering, steel technology, advancement are going to be the key differentiator for the drones in the future. So there are different concepts like drone taxis there, agriculture flying there are there, small miniature drones are there. There are drones which are coming with bladeless or no propellers inside. Drones are being extensively getting tested for supply. So if you see in Gurgaon, even in from Mumbai to Bhiwandi, you know that locations, lot of supply drones are been flying and been getting tested right now. Or even for drone taxi between one city to another city, you know, we are going to set up all those kind of future of the drones. Even miniature type of, you know, we are mimicking the animals or insects or birds, you know, in making the drones. So there are drones which are developed with the wings also, similar to a dragonfly or similar to, you know, birds kind of things also. Okay, so what is the anatomy of a quadcopter? We saw that it will have a propeller, it will have motor, it will have a airframe. Okay, then it will have a flight controller, it will have a front camera which is called as FPV cameras. Then it will have a camera with a gimbal which captures the data. Then, you know, your motor and propeller are being powered by using ESCs. If you see here, there is a ESC over here. Okay, electronic speed controllers are there. Then you will below at the belly of your drone there will be a battery pack. Okay, and then you will have a landing gear or a landing stress so that your drone is safely landing. Sometimes these are all hydraulic type landing gears are also available. Okay, then you will have a receiver from where actually your remote control will send a signal, and it will, you know, interpret and send that signal to the flight control for smooth operations of your drones. Okay, so propellers which converts the rotational motions to thrust. So as I said, there are two types of propeller: pusher or puller. Okay, so pusher are basically clockwise, pullers are nothing but counterclockwise. So propeller dynamics can be modeled by Bernoulli principles and Newton third law. So if you see, the propellers are designed using Bernoulli principles, whereas the functioning of the propeller is using Newton's third law. Okay, so we'll see this in detail when we do the practicals. Okay, I will explain you how and what. So now if you see here, there are two types of propellers. Okay, you can see the propellers over here. Okay, so can you tell me which type of propellers are these? Counterwise or clockwise or counterclockwise? Clockwise or counterclockwise?
फर्स्ट वाला जो सिल्वर हेड आहे ना तो काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज आहे
Okay,
आणि जो सेकंड वाला ब्लॅक टॉप वाला आहे ना तो CW.
CW count clockwise, right?
हा
So correct, you
हा
are correct. So you have to see the shape and the design of the propeller. That will tell you, like this propeller will be moving like this. Okay, so this is
येस
counterclockwise,
येस
counterclockwise. Whereas this black head motor propeller
क्लॉकवाइज.
will be moving like this, clockwise. Okay.
येस
Similarly, if you see the motors are used to rotate the propellers. The brushless DC motors are highly efficient and long lasting. The key parameter to focus on the motor is the motor speed, thrust value, compatible ESC and compatible battery. So ये motor के ऊपर यहाँ पे specification दिया रहता है. There are two good companies which makes the motors which are being widely used across the globe. One is T motor and then another is hobby wing motors. Okay. देर आर लोकल वेंडर्स ऑल्सो, जैसे वेक्ट्रॉनिक्स करके एक कंपनी है जो लोकल मोटर बनाती है. दे आर ऑल्सो गुड क्वालिटी एट द सेम लेवल एट द सेम पार्क वेयर दे आर मेकिंग मोटर्स फॉर ड्रोन्स. ओके, तो इंडियन कंपनी है वेक्ट्रॉनिक्स करके. ओके, वो भी मोटर्स बनाती है. Electronic speed controllers are used to vary the this nothing but this is like your regulator of your fan. Okay, so used to vary the motor speed with precision, can control the direction of the rotation of the motor, CW and CCW. तो अगर आप वायर सेंटर चेंज करोगे तो आपका मोटर का डायरेक्शन भी चेंज होता है. बट दिस इज ओनली एप्लीकेबल फॉर स्मॉल ड्रोन्स. for bigger drones, we should never reverse the ESCs for changing the directions. We have to use the right type of ESCs. Okay, these ESCs are also used for act as a dynamic brake. Yani suddenly it can stop the speed of the or rotation of your motor. Okay, battery eliminating circuit for powering the flight controls and receivers. So that also ESC also has additional panels which controls the what we call the powering to the flight controllers or receivers. Okay, whereas flight controllers or autopilot, okay, that is the brain of US, helps in flight navigation, stabilization and fail-safe redundancy. So basically flight controller which actually controls the complete functionality of your drone. The most common flight controllers developers are RDO pilot. Pilot develop क्या करता है? Pixoc. Okay, then there is a DJI, and then there are some customized people are also there who are actually developing drones. Okay, sorry, the flight controllers. So Ardu Pilot is the widely used flight controller. तो Pixhawk करके जो नाम है Pixhawk, ये एक standard flight controller है. Okay, whereas there are different variants of Pixhawk. Okay, flight cube है, orange है, white है, Pixhawk white है. डिफरेंट कलर के साथ डिफरेंट फंक्शनैलिटी के लिए हो जाता है. लाइक Pixhawk orange या white was primarily used in agriculture drones. Okay, they were used primarily into agriculture drones. Airframe consists of housing the enclosing the electronics, motor, boom arms and platform. Different configuration of quadcopter: H shape, X shape, plus shape or S shape. So different configuration of drones you can see for the quadcopter. Okay, so this can be like H shape, this can be X shape. Okay, then this could be a plus shape. Okay, like that. So different configurations are there. Basically what you need to say, based on the structure of your airframe, you can put your motors. Basically 4 motors should be at 4 corners. How you connect and what shape you use irrespective of flying the drones. Okay, this shape is not so important for flying the drone, but mostly you see the DJI drones or quadcopters are designed in this quadex type of drones. Okay, now to power the drone, you need battery pack or power plant for UAV. So rechargeable LiPo or lithium ion are widely used, high energy density compared to the conventional batteries. Vary by discharge rate, capacity and voltage. So on the battery pack, you will see like these words in the 50 cells, 5000 mAh, okay, and then 3 cell charge rate and all that things. Okay, so if you see, the most important is the mAh capacity. This is the capacity at which, so 5000 mAh का बैटरी है तो कितना एंड्योरेंस देगा उमेश?
हाँ
5000 mAh का बैटरी है तो कितना एंड्योरेंस देता है आपको एरोप्लेन में?
5000 यूज नहीं किया, मिनिमम 2200.
220 यूज किया होगा.
हाँ
कितना दे रहा था आपको फ्लाइट टाइम?
ड्रोन में 10 to 15 मिनट.
करेक्ट. सो 220 नॉर्मली विल गिव यू 10 to 15 मिनट्स. तो आप इसमें डबल कर रहे हो पावर. ओके, 220 से 5000 mAh करते हो तो अप्रोक्सीमेटली आपको 20 मिनट्स मिलेगा, 20-25 मिनट्स मिलेगा. क्योंकि क्या है ना, सिर्फ बैटरी का कैपेसिटी बढ़ नहीं रहा है, बैटरी का वेट भी बढ़ रहा है. तो वेट क्या कर रहा है, आपका ड्रोन को हेवियर बना रहा है, तो उसको उतना पावर भी लग रहा है. तो ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि आपने पावर डबल किया तो आपको 10 मिनट्स से 20 मिनट्स मिलेगा. नॉट नेसेसरी, समटाइम्स इट इज 18 मिनट्स ऑल्सो. So depending upon the design of your drone and what kind of motors, propellers you are using, so all things will contribute to your flight time. Clear? Then you have
Yes.
camera gimbal used to mount the payload, help in stabilization, pan control and tilt control. So without gimbal, can I fix the camera to my drone and take the pictures? Is it possible?
नो.
Why?
ड्रोन में कैमरा तो जरूरी है ना.
नहीं, कैमरा तो जरूर है, मैं गिम्बल की बात कर रहा हूँ. बिना गिम्बल
गिम्बल
के कैन आई पुट अ कैमरा एंड कैन आई यूज टू कैप्चर द पिक्चर्स? और अगर मैं यूज करता हूँ तो मुझे क्या चैलेंज आ सकता है? So what is the advantage of gimbal being attached to the drone?
गिम्बल स्टेबल रहता है, मतलब ड्रोन जे
Yes,
ड्रोन
Abhi. Abhi, you must have encountered this kind of challenge when you are flying for cinematography.
Yes, sir. It is for the stability of the camera.
Correct. So imagine your drone without a gimbal. You attach the camera direct to the body of the drone. आप उससे भी फोटोग्राफ ले सकते हो, बट क्या होगा, आपका ड्रोन फ्लाई हो रहा है, वाइब्रेशंस आ सकते हैं, फिर एक पर्टिकुलर एंगल में अगर आपको ड्रोन शूट लेना है, तो यू हैव टू मूव द ड्रोन, right? So that movement will add to your moment, to your camera also. That shakiness aa sakta hai, all that things. So if you have a gimbal attached to your camera, it will stabilize your camera footage. Okay, and then you can hover your drone and control your movement of your camera with help of gimbal for pan control and tilt control. And pan and tilt motions जो आप कर सकते हो, that you can do using the drone, using the gimbal. Whereas landing thrust, these are the legs that drones rest on when it is landing on. So this basically supports the structure of the drone, prevents the structure of the drone bumping around the ground, and as well as it prevents the payload also getting damaged. So that's why we always have a landing truss connected to the drone, so that the drone is higher than the ground. Okay, that is the advantage of the can be folded with the help of servo mechanism, resulting in better field of view. Like DJI Inspire आपने देखा रहेगा, DJI Inspire में क्या होता है, उसका स्टैंडिंग ट्रस जो है, लैंडिंग ट्रस है, वो ऊपर चले जाते हैं, सो दैट नीचे आपका पूरा जो गिम्बल और जो कैमरा है, इट कैन रोटेट 360 डिग्री freely without that what we say, the landing gear coming in between the view of the field, right? So radio transmitter and receiver, I talked about the frequency on which the radio controller works during the RT session. So it is 2.4 gigahertz, the band which works on the radio controller, transmits inputs given by the pilot to the receiver. The communication link preferred frequency for this device is 2.4 gigahertz because of the max efficiency. Whereas the video transmission preferred frequency is 5.8 gigahertz, as it is provides the noise free and the best quality video signal. Okay, then there is something called telemetry. That is, the air end is connected to the UAE, the ground is connected to the GCS control. Provides crucial telemetry data, altitude, distance, speed, wind, all that information what is required for to know to my functionality of my drone will be provided by the telemetry. Okay, the dynamic updation of the flight plans and any change in the mission is done through the telemetry devices. Okay, this is manually flying, whereas telemetry will give you the input and will give you the output of the mission plans and all that things on your screen. Okay, now if you see here, there is a communication happening between the transmitter and the receiver, so that is called as handshake. Okay, so every time the drone is actually sending a signal to the controller, and controller is acknowledging and sending back to the drone. Okay, so this three-way handshake is continuously happening. In case your control is not able to receive the signal from the drone, or drone is not able to receive a signal from the remote controller, there will be a different emergency procedures. Okay, in both scenario there is a loss of link or loss of communication link. In that scenario, your drone will trigger a RTN. So we'll see this more in detail in tomorrow's session in emergency handling. Okay, now if you see quadcopter anatomy, front indicators necessary to maintain the orientation. Lot of time when we are flying the drone, we do not know which is the front and the back side. बहुत ज़्यादा दूर ड्रोन फ्लाई कर जाता है, especially the smaller drones. It's become very difficult to understand the front side and the back side until unless I move, I do some motions or some movements on the drone. Then only I come to know. So that's why to avoid all these things, the newer drones from DJI or the drones which are been now type certified are having strobe lights or LEDs are there, or even colored arms are being used, or reflective material is being put on the drone, so that we know or we are able to identify the front side and the back side of the drones. Okay, so this is also not mandatory as of now in a type certification, but whatever the type certified drones are coming, since the mode, so the companies have done a very smart work. They have integrated the strobe light in the motor itself. ओके सो इन मोटर के साथ ही में ही उन्होंने वो स्ट्रोब लाइट इंटीग्रेट कर दिया है. So when you put a motor, along with the motor only you will have, or the arm itself will have a strobe lights. तो बेसिकली क्या है ना, उनको भी पावर कंज्यूम करना है. द मोर यू कंज्यूम द पावर, द मोर बैटरीज विल बी सेल्ड, more battery will be utilized. Okay, that's the idea of having that. This is what I was talking about in the morning, is about the ADSB, right? Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast. Okay, this component is not there in drones as of now. This will actually provides the position via satellite navigation. Periodically broadcast, it's enabled it to be tracked. This is key for the air safety. The real-time ADSB is used now for air traffic control, weather, and flight information service. So this ADSB will come mandatory feature when we launch BVLOS rules and regulations. Okay, so that time all your drones need to have a ADSB enabled kind of drones. So जितने भी अभी drones हमारे type certified हो गए हैं, none of those drones are ADSB compatible. As of now, we are only using a normal drone. Okay. Then we have something called microcontroller, is also brain of the flight controller, collects the measurement from all its sensors, tell the motors what to do based on the both sensors and the user inputs, often connects to the ground station through radio and connect to the pilot through a control link. So this brain, okay, the Pix4 brain microcontroller is actually which actually computes everything about it. So there is additional component called altitude and heading reference system. It tells us where the aircraft is moving. So it will tell you the position, heading, क्या movement हो रहा है, yaw हो रहा है, roll हो रहा है, pitch हो रहा है. So that is basically which actually the altitude and heading reference system will inputs and provides inputs to the flight controller, and accordingly the flight controller will take the decision and provide the inputs to the respective motors for performing those action. Like अब yaw का command दे रहे हो तो वो yaw will be signal will be passed on and then yaw will happen. Roll दे रहे हो तो roll will happen. आप pitch forward बोल रहे हो तो pitch forward accordingly will happen, or pitch back will happen. Okay, then there are other sensors also like IMU. This is the most important in the drone after the flight controller. Okay, an inertial measurement unit, IMU, is an electronic device that measures and reports a body specific force, angular rate, magnetic field surrounding the body. So it incorporates accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, and magnetometers. Necessary for autonomous flight, it allows GPS receiver to work when GPS signals are not available. In case आप fly कर रहे हो और अचानक से आपका drone का GPS signal loss हो गया, there is no GPS signal, so क्या होगा फिर? So drone will be managed using IMU. So IMU will be having the data with respect to the last signal where it was received from the GPS. Based on that, it will try to compute and provide the information where the drone is currently flying or what details it is. Okay. Then we have a GPS. GPS is basically an advanced technology which uses nothing but your GPS signal from GPS satellites. The GPS module is responsible for provision of longitude, latitude, and elevation points. It helps drones navigate in BVLOS conditions. So right now we are using GPS for movement and all thing, but more importance of GPS comes into the picture when we are going to use for BVLOS condition and capture details for specific location on land. GPS module helps in enabling RTH, that is remote to home or return to home capability in case of communication or battery fail safe kind of things. Okay, then to connect your battery to the motherboard or the power boards, you need to have a power module. So you have a connector which is connecting one end to the battery and other end to the AC or PDB, that is power distribution board. So normally it provides a voltage of 5 to 6 volt to the flight controller also, and then it also has a controller for giving power to the motors as well. Okay, so ये power distribution board से आपका पूरा voltage distribute होता है to the motors ESCs. I mean through ESCs it will given to the motor, and then also a low voltage, that is 5.5 to 6 volt given to the flight controller. Okay, so power distribution receives power from the battery, distributes the input of multiple ESCs, can power different accessories attached to the drone like HD cameras or LED light. So there are a lot of connectors are available on the power distribution board for connecting different devices. The primarily is the connecting the battery and the ESCs of the drones, okay, for powering. Okay, but there are other controllers or connectors are also available from where you can connect different devices through the PDB. Okay, so with that we complete the topic on the anatomy of the drones or the components of the drone. Now let's quickly see the applications of drone in the various sectors. Okay, so we have using drones in agriculture, forest and wildlife, urban development, healthcare, mining, disaster management, homeland security, traffic management. So these are different applications of drones in various sectors. Okay, what are the business ideas now using this, various sectors? So you can, design aerial photography, videography, like including film, ad making, special event, journalism, real estate surveillance, monitoring, agricultural apps, commercial inspection services like bridges, cell, TV towers, power line towers, aircraft, railways, wind turbines, mines, oil and gas pipelines, solar panels, etc. You can do commercial inspection services. Surveying and mapping provide companies with 3D digital elevation, fencing data, survey construction sites, urban planning and development. All that purposes also you can use. Logistics, Australia port, Amazon has already started drone deliveries in US and Australia locations. Medical supplies, organ transportation, relief operations. These are already been done and tested using logistics. But to run this, all this kind of thing, like especially logistic part, okay, this needs a very big ecosystem to be set up. So this ecosystem is still not there in our country. Slowly, this will get set up. Maybe down the line, 1 year or 2 years, we'll have all of these things set up in our country and will be fully functional and using it. Okay. Business ideas, again, residential home inspections, like big houses, big towers, big buildings. They need a lot of inspection, exterior damage inspections, chimneys, sliding bricks, and other structures. All that can be done using the drones. Drone parts and repairs, like as we have more number of drones available in the market, will be requiring lot of people with parts repair. So like we'll see, when I was purchasing the drone, I was facing lot of challenges in putting the parts, because there was only one or two websites were available who are actually selling the drone parts. But right now I can show you almost 10 plus websites where all good parts are available to purchase from. Okay, so drone parts, even repairs, even today we are struggling a lot of on repairs as well. Okay, then we are currently seeing that drones have been using in drone aerobatic shows, enter events like drone racing, organize your own components. Aerial advertisement is also in flying banners and business, ensure drones with purview of airspace restrictions. Okay, data analytics, we have seen this one of the segment which has been used enormously, because a lot of data have been captured by using drones. And then data analytics, like I am doing my as my doing my PhD in geoinformatics, I am supposed to fly the drone over the crops and the soil and get the data, and then that data needs to be analyzed and to be fed and give the results to the farmers. Okay, engineering consultancy like drone identification, procurement, operations, obtaining UIN numbers, being DGCI compliant. So a lot of companies would be requiring this kind of segment also. There are a lot of companies which has come with SaaS based firms. Okay, so software solution related to flight planning, controller, diversive data processing, analytics, app development. Like I was using drones for power line transmission monitoring kind of thing. So initially we were doing manual based kind of thing. Then we had one company which actually developed a software, so that is called as SaaS based software, which was actually flown autonomously near the power line tower, and it was able to capture on its own the complete tower ka pictures and provide that pictures back to the body for further analysis and for further deployment into their model. Okay, then we talked about your UAE insurance, because DGCA has made it mandatory that all the drones what we have should have third party insurance. Okay, so cover the liability damage claims to third party hull structure related to UAVs. Okay, so these are some of the ideas which can be utilized to start your entrepreneur journey also if you want. So this is what we see ourselves in near future down the line, maybe 5 years to 6 years. we should see ourselves. Agriculture drones have been in use for agriculture surveillance, medical supply, smart grid, drone ports, railway and car monitoring. Driverless car, driverless buses, all that things. Traffic surveillance and real-time notification. Within the factory, also you can use drones for monitoring and supply chain kind of activities also. Plus, there could be a drone for first responders also. Like a lot of time, we have seen drone being used for quickly supplying the medical support or medical help to the needy one and all the things. In future, we might see private and hobby use of the drones, but more about climate monitoring or advanced things will be used for drones and their applications into our day-to-day life. Okay, so any questions you have so far, or we are good to conclude on this session over here?
No doubt, sir.
Very good.